Let's get to action figure spotlight. What do you think?
Yeah, so because we haven't been able to buy anything, I got a pre-order that I had in for what seems like 6 months already, and that's this guy came from Big Bad Toy Store. I opened him because another resolution that you and I have kind of agreed on is that we're going to open up more of these dollies and throw away these boxes that are just taking up space. This is a surprisingly small Sharkticon. This is from Wave 2 of the Transformers 86 movie toy line.
Nice.
I don't really know how I feel about him. He's not super exciting. I can't say I'm a big fan of Sharkticons at all. I turned him into the Sharkticon, which I had to look up a video how to do because I can't transform these things to save my life. But there's a Sharkticon, so he's going to go with Hot Rod and Cup so I can punch him in the mouth. I wouldn't suggest army building these. I don't think the figure is super great, and they're also $35 each.
That's pricey.
I guess it's no doubt or no different than any other Hasbro. But there's my Sharkticon. Not super exciting, but a welcome addition to the Transformers the movie collection that I'm housing.
I always liked the original Sharkticon figure, but again, my big issue with Transformers, as people will hear me rant on several episodes, notably probably tonight's on Jinx Esports TV, is the scale.
Well,
the size of the original Sharkticon is huge compared to the other figures. But I like it. But this
is completely to scale. All these guys and the War for Cybertron, they're all to scale with each other, save for when you're getting crazy like the HasLab Unicron, Omega Supreme, stuff like that. Yeah. But you're talking about like Jetfire, Skyfire, and Skylinks. They're all to scale to Prime and all of them. So that's really great. And the Sharkticon is to scale to Hot Rod and Cup. So it's great.
You mentioned Skylinks. That makes me want to get him because that was
he's up in the corner. Yeah,
I haven't seen your Skylinks. We got to fix that. Even if we just do a private off-air show and tell, because that was one of the few Transformers I had. I had a lot of G2 Transformers and stuff like that.
And he plays a really big role in the War for Cybertron. He's like a very spiritual guide for Optimus. He's really cool in the show.
It reminds me of Granomir for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Well, because he's like a dinosaur dragon or whatever.
Absolutely.
I'll give you a choice. Obviously, I have not only the boxes in my hallway that I alluded to from Big Bad Toy Store, but I have other stuff here. And I specifically have a vintage figure that finally came. And it's the first vintage figure I've bought in a long time. Because mainly it's just new pre-orders that get shoved at my door. And I have a new figure as well. So you can pick between the vintage figure or something newer.
Well, we have to be pretty sparing with what we have since we can't go shopping now. So let's do the vintage for a change. Let's do the vintage figure.
Okay, the vintage figure. This may have been the figure that really got me to put the brakes on everything. Do you want to hazard a guess as to what this might be? That you have no way of possibly knowing, but just take a guess.
Give me a hint on what it's from, like what series it's from.
Masters.
Vintage Masters figure. I know you don't like Ninjor, so it's not him. I'm gonna guess. Oh boy, let's guess.
I'm gonna send it to your head.
I'm gonna say a Horde Trooper because they're so awesome.
No, not a Horde Trooper, but not super far off. Well, yeah, sure. What I have here is a carded vintage Sorceress.
That's way off. Not even close to Horde
Trooper. On the back.
Hordax on the back. Oh, the Troopers on the back. Okay.
Troopers back there, yeah, too.
That's beautiful.
This is nice. The only damage, of course, is the hang tab right here. That's the biggest damage, but that bubble is really clean. The figure is obviously in amazing condition.
Oh, man, that's just amazing.
Those late run Masters of the Universe figures, of course, are just really hard to find. They're skyrocketing in value, as I know very well. I got to get this in a mock master. Joe, if you're out there watching or catching this on the review, we need a mock master on this. We need to properly protect this. This is a case that I don't have a lot of faith in. So we got to make sure we get that. But this was one of the last Masters of the Universe figures that I had, and the opportunity came up to acquire, and I couldn't say no. This is a loose figure I've wanted for a while. I have the Club Grayskull one, which is just awesome, but I've always had a soft spot for this classic figure. I don't know why. It just, I mean,
wow, she was always really hard to get. You know, that era of Masters figures along with King Randor. I mean, that reminds me of, you know, the last 10 Star Wars figures from the Power of the Force, right? They're always special because like that was the end, right? And I remember Sorceress always, I never had her. I don't think you had her. Did you have her?
I had her. She was one of the ones I had, of course. So you got that Wicked card art at the back with Hordak there, because of course they're promoting the Horde. Flying Fist He-Man, Rio Blast, Extendar, and of course the Horde Trooper, Dragster, Hurricane Hordak. So you know they're getting the second release. 1986 for this. And of course,
you know what I had a dream about the other day, speaking of Sorceress, I had a dream about Zor, like the original Zor figure. And I really want that figure.
Sure.
Like I had Screech, but I never had Zor. So maybe when after the bet's over, I'm going to look for one because I really want to put one on display. I think it's just a gorgeous looking figure.
What I remember as a kid about grabbing this figure finally was that it felt like Grayskull was finally complete, because for so many years you played with your guys, but you never had the Sorceress there to complete that story. So to have that figure finally come out, the third female figure after Tila and Evelyn, it felt like, oh, thank God, finally. Like King Randor, sure, sort of could be part of the story if you wanted, but this was an essential character that was part of the TV show that you just needed to complete the storytelling. So
Randor was great, and he was like, again, one of those, you know, like a Man or Yak Face or one of the last Star Wars figures. It was cool to have, but they didn't make Queen Marlena, which never made sense. So it always kind of felt weird to have the king without her.
Yeah, I agree.
But
I agree 100%. Let's get to the action figure spotlight of the week, Jay. Of course, brought to you by our lovely Patreon backers, which, like our sponsors, keep this all free. So this is cool. It really makes it a good kick in the butt for us to do this stuff. Jay, do you have a couple figures that you want to talk about this week, or like a choice, or am I only getting one? Whatever you serve up, what's it going to be?
Well, I'm showcasing. I showcase something on this table here. I'm showcasing not the original, second version of Silver Surfer from the Marvel Legends. I think this is the 2017 Walgreens exclusive. So that was going to be the spotlight, but we didn't talk about the bet.
Okay,
the bet we have where. Through the entire viewing of the second season of the Jan Rob Toy Show on Jenks, you and I would refrain from buying anything. And I have failed. I have lost the bet.
What?
I have lost.
You're out?
Yes, I'm out. I'm out of the contest.
Did you see like Mayfeld? Did you see Sandman? What was it?
It was something I couldn't say no to. I saw it at my local comic shop, and
let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. When you saw it and you knew that you needed to have it, how quickly did the bet enter your mind?
Oh, I said, oh, fudge. Only I didn't say fudge because this is a Walmart exclusive that was brought in. And I couldn't say no to it. I knew I'd lose the bet. But like I said, things are changing. Things have changed drastically this past 2 weeks for me in my life. And I needed a bit of retail therapy. So my action figure spotlight is from the Bad Batch. And this is, of course, the legendary Captain Rex. I think this is easily one of the top 10 figures of the year. This thing is gorgeous. He hasn't been taken out of the package just yet. That's going to be for my YouTube channel, but that's a real cloth cloak. The helmet is removable. Rex is a legendary character in Star Wars. And of course, he appears in the Bad Batch because he belongs to Dave Filoni. So there he is. There is the back of the box. You know how I can't stand the Black Series box. I think they're ugly. The art's nice. He was expensive because he is a Walmart exclusive, but I saw it and there wasn't even like a whimper of doubt in my mind. So Captain Rex, thank you very much. I lost the bet. Thank God there was no stakes. Otherwise,
No,
I'd be
there
in
was
trouble.
stakes. There was stakes. You have to make a separate post on Facebook admitting your shame that you couldn't hold off buying toys
sure.
and that you were weak and gave in to the disease that you have as a collector.
Dude, I do that almost monthly anyway. So
we
it'd be
do
my
it
pleasure.
every episode with Action Figure
Pretty
Spotlight.
much. So I'll do that for you tomorrow, there, farm
But you
boy.
gotta do, you know what? Maybe you should put it on your YouTube channel just so everybody else sees. You really gets the eyeballs on it. I'm surprised you got that figure because I know you're not a huge fan of the Bad Batch show.
I don't like the Bad Batch show. That is correct. I do not like it. But I love Captain Rex, and there's something. I'm a sucker for clone trooper armor when they put the robes on.
Yeah.
Even if they made Ultra Magnus from War for Cybertron with the cloak, I would lose my mind. There's something,
it's like the Wanderer Vagabond.
It all comes back to Jedi Luke for me, and that's where that look comes from. So you put a cloak on anything, and I'll buy it. There you go. Let's see.
Wherever I may roam. I got I got 2 figures for you to pick from. So number 1 or number 2, I suppose.
Odd numbers always. Number 1.
Okay. This is, let me make my screen big. This is a Hellfire Goblin from Mythic Legions.
Oh, it's so sick.
I got this not that long ago. I'm going to see if I can open this because one of the coolest things about the Legions packaging is you can always put it in there. But as was one of my New Year's resolutions last year, so we got to take these guys out as much as we can. And even if it's just for the sake, I can't probably do this expediently enough, but you guys will be able to see this a little bit more clear now.
Oh,
so
he's awesome.
I just love the goblins from the Mythic Legions line. And this one in particular just looks so nasty and vile that I just, I love the idea of these guys just mingling with my master's lines. And I can see this guy as a total disciple of Skeletor. Totally worth army building these guys as well. But look at the detail. And I can see these things, alongside some of my Jareth figures as well from Labyrinth and some sort of higher fantasy kind of stakes game there as well.
Yeah.
The detail is just like, oh my God, like all underneath the armor, it's all comes off. So if you don't want it like that, you can have it differently. Tons and tons of like armor and accessories and bows and like pieces that just add on. Clearly a lot as they're falling out right now, but just a wild character. And he was damned to be open, and now he's out here, and he'll be soon on the shelf for a proper shelfie. So
that's cool. It's a line I've still yet to tap into, but I've got my hands on quite a few last couple of years through Action Figure Adventure and what we've done, and I've seen plenty, and they're just fantastic. They just do incredible work.
Do you want to get to Action Figure Spotlight for the week?
Sure. Yeah, I brought one off the shelf because we were doing revealing the auction items. So I picked one up that I showed on my social media already during our filming, but it was one I wanted to show because we are showing the Journey for Season 2. So I'll go first here. This is from one of my favorite movies of all time, which is not Star Wars. It's the 1980 81 hit Clash of the Titans. And we found this, I don't want to give anything away. The same place we saw Spy Drax. I'll just say that. So this is my Pegasus gleaming white, and of course Perseus, who is complete. I'm gonna rotate him so you can see his little sword, which is always missing. It's a line of only 4 figures. They all come with the exact same sword and the shield, but this thing rode with us in the toy box all the way to all our destinations. And if anyone knows the Mattel Clash of the Titans stuff, the figures are rock solid, but the Kraken and the Pegasus are like China dolls.
Yeah,
this thing is
you can see the wings shaking as you rotate it.
Yeah, this thing is so light and fragile. You could crush it in your hand, literally. It's like paper. But this was one that didn't survive my childhood. This is my childhood Perseus, of course, but Pegasus did not survive. So to see this, and look how white it is. You can't even see the detail. It's so blinding. It's just gorgeous. I love this. I love this toy.
It's also waxy a little bit. I found when we were looking at it, it's not like plastic. It's like a weird soft plastic,
and it's really goes along with a lot of the '80s mounts where it was just one solid mold, save for the wings. There's no articulation on it, but none needed. It's just a beautiful, beautiful toy, and I'm so happy to be reunited with one of my heroes, Pegasus and Perseus.
I got to tell you, when you got that, and of course, looking through the footage and we saw a few different examples of Clash of the Titans at different stores. It was a really cool line, and it's so strange that there's only 4 figures plus the Kraken and Perseus. So small, easy to collect, but super cool for whatever reason, right? Like, I don't know. There's some of those like what I call pre-Masters lines that are really grabbing my attention. And
this is just my thoughts, okay? So if you're a kid and back then toys were marketed strictly for kids and you watch Clash of the Titans, it's not unlike Black Hole where it's not a kid's movie. Clash of the Titans is very scary and very violent. So I can see why a lot of parents didn't buy the toys because they probably didn't want their kids watching the movie, especially the Medusa parts are horrific.
I kind of got 2, but I'm just going to showcase everything I got because I literally got it in the mail. Before I get to quickly, I want to ask, now that our toy bet is off and we still haven't come up with stakes yet, maybe we'll get his stakes next week of trying to recreate the bet. Did you buy any new figures since last week? Now that there's no stakes. And I haven't seen your social media post, by the way.
I got a few today. I haven't shown them. Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, look forward to that on the Jay Bartlett YouTube channel then.
I'm just going to take some stills. There's some older legends, and God only knows I've shown enough Marvel Legends on this show, so I spared everyone.
Did you get Forge?
I didn't get Forge.
Did you get Jubilee?
Oh, you saw that picture? No, I didn't get it. I got one of the villains that's both our favorites, and I never seen Mr. Sinister before until I saw him in person. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And I got him. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's a little something for everybody to look forward to when you share some stills. That as far as my action figure spotlight this week, it's going to the NECA world of cartoon turtles. So there's a couple I'm going to show because they both arrived in the same package. This is Dirtbag and Ground Chuck. These were past my time for the cartoon. I do not remember them at all.
Wait a second.
I remember Ground Chuck. I remember Ground Chuck.
I thought you were done. I thought that was the end. I thought
here we turtles. Go. This is what I'm getting into. This is the point I'm getting into. Sometimes when a figure is just so cool, you can find ways to convince yourself. And in this case, these guys, like, this is a giant box. So these figures are hefty and weighty. I remember Ground Chuck as a Playmates figure, but I don't remember Dirtbag. Somebody else can chime in and let me know if they actually made him.
Well, you're not a Turtles fan. You're not a Turtles fan. That's why.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm not a real Turtle fan. Sorry. I don't know Blast Attacks. I'm not a real Masters fan either. So that's the first one I got. Now, these ones I did remember, but I don't remember them on the cartoon show, but I loved the figures. And that's Wingnut and Screw Loose. So again, huge.
Oh, wow. Box. Way different than the vintage.
Yeah, way different than the Playmates. Like really in your face. Both of these are going to get opened. I have no attachment to keeping these in the box. So I can't wait to have these big, meaty figures on display. Again, there's not too much on the packaging to really showcase for you guys, whatnot. But there's an example. Like, look how big his gun is. It's just massive, and all the accessories that go on his wings. Love the Playmates Wingnuts. When I saw that they made this was an insta buy. And I'm actually more curious now going forward, like in the cartoon run of stuff, what are they going to put out there that is just such a cool figure that I can't say no to? Because there's nothing on my list that I need. It is so like pick and choose, and I'm happy not getting a single one. But if the figure is really cool, pick them up.